What's your full name? Why did your parents select this name for you? Did you have a nickname?
My full name is Margaret Lee Anguish Cobb. I have no idea why my parents selected that name. All I know is that they did not want to name any of their children after family members because my father was a junior and he always disliked that. Mother just said she liked the name Margaret. I don't know where Lee came from. And my nickname growing up was, my family called me Sarg, which was, they took the M off of Marg, which was short for Margaret, and put the S on. And so they always called me Sarg. And then in junior high, well, really high school, my nickname was Frog because I looked like Sally Fields, and that was her name in Smokey and the Bandit. And then in college, it became Gidget because MTV had just started airing Gidget reruns. So, but everyone just called me Margaret. My mother did not want it shortened to Peggy or Maggie. She made that very clear early on.
Okay. When and where were you born?
I was born in Midland, Texas, at Midland Memorial Hospital.
Midland Memorial. Okay.
On April 6th, 1964. And I'm the baby.
So does that put you at 50?
I will be 50
Okay, 50.
in 2 weeks. Exactly, from
Just
2 weeks today.
Going over the hill.
Yes, and I'm the baby of family of 4 kids, and I'm the baby.
How did your family come to live in Midland?
My dad's mother grew up all over West Texas area, and so she was in Andrews, I believe, at the time, but her family was mostly around Alpine area. And then my dad's father came down from Illinois. He was a farmer, but he came down because of the oil boom in the early 1920s to Midland. And he met my grandmother. And I don't know why I guess they stayed there because of the oil boom. At the time, Midland was not an oil city. It was actually a cattle and ranching center. And oil was just starting up.
Were there other family members in the area? I guess.
Yes. Now, my paternal grandmother's family, of course, was in the area, and she had 5 brothers and sisters, and they were all kind of in that same area. Like I said, around Alpine, somewhere in Midland, Andrews, somewhere in Lamesa, so kind of all around that area. And then my dad had 2 siblings, and his sister, also settled in Midland and married a Midland man, and they raised their family there too. So I had my cousins on my dad's side. We're also in Midland.
What was the house like? How many rooms? How many bathrooms did it have?
Okay, I grew up in the most fabulous house ever. It was what I guess you would consider a ranch. It was 1 story. It took up like we lived in a cul-de-sac, and we were the last house on the cul-de-sac, the big pie-shaped lot, and it was just huge, sprawling. My parents built it before I was born, and so at the time it had 3 bedrooms and two full baths and one half bath. And then they added on another bedroom and full bath after I was born. And so it became a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath. And it was just a fabulous house. It was so much fun as a child to grow up there.
How many rooms? There's 3-bedroom.
It started out 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, and it ended up 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Was there oh, I didn't. Did it have air conditioning?
Yes. Before I was born, it did not. It had what we called swamp coolers.
Mm-hmm.
So I do kind of remember that, but by the time I got old enough to really remember, it was all heat and air, central heat and air. Yes. But most of the time, if the weather was nice, we had the windows open.
What about air conditioning?
That's what I just said.
I mean telephones. Sorry.
Yes, we did have telephones. We had 3. There was one in the kitchen. There was one in my mother and dad's room. And then that was all we had for a long time. And then when my oldest brother and sister got old and were teenagers, we got a teenager line, quote unquote, in the back hallway. And so there were 3 phones for the most part. And that one in the back hall, the teenager line, we had our own phone number. That was just for the kids. And our number at the time, when I was growing up, was you didn't have area codes. And
Just 6 digits.
we just had 5 digits. It was 6 digit. But it was the number like MX and then, or MU.
Yeah.
5522. That was our phone number. And of course, we had rotary dial phones.
Were there any special items in the house that you remember?
The house was, it had every modern convenience, and it was had a lot of things in it for a home built in 1960. It actually had like Lazy Susans in the kitchen, like not Lazy Susans, but like the cabinets.
Right.
You know, you'd open a cabinet and there'd be a Lazy Susan in there. It had, I don't know.
So it was pretty nice. I mean,
Yes,
it was very top of the line.
It had very top of the line. I just loved that house.
What is your earliest childhood memory?
I have no idea. I don't know. I can remember being put down for a nap, so I had to have been pretty young. I can remember laying in my bedroom, maybe in a crib, I don't know, but just tracing the outlines of a blanket.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's my earliest.
Yeah.
I have a lot of childhood memories.
Describe the personalities of your family members.
Oh, gosh. Well, my dad was very eccentric. He was a lot of fun. He was quite stern, though. My mom was always busy and I don't know, busy. I don't know.
What about your sisters?
My brother was a loner, and he liked to tinker with model planes, and which I was fascinated with. And my oldest sister was like real social and outgoing and goofy, and my middle sister was real quiet and shy, and then there was me. So I don't know.
What kind of games did you play growing up?
Well, we played all kinds of games. We played Monopoly. We played Life. We played Trouble and Headache. Those were all board games.
Well, what about something
We
like Kick
played-
the Bucket?
Oh, yeah, I'll get to that. We also played a lot of card games like Gin, Rummy, and Crazy Eights. We played Crazy Eights all the time. We played Old Maid. That's what we were inside. We also had a ping pong table. We had big family ping pong table tournaments. A lot of fun. If we were outside, we had a trampoline, and we had a big old swing set and a big jungle gym thing that we played all kinds of games on. And we played, I don't know, the big games back then were like Red Rover, and kickball, football. We played lots and lots of games. Bingo, we loved bingo. A lot of outside playing.
What was your favorite toy and why?
Oh. Well, goodness. I had a couple of special toys. I had a lot of Fisher Price when I was little. And I had like everything. The garage, the house, the barn, the airport, the school bus, the airplane. I played a lot of Fisher Price. I also collected and played with plastic horses.
Oh, yeah.
I think the names were Breyer. You can still buy them today. Anyway, I collected those, and so I played with my little horses all the time. And I had a stuffed horse named Reddy that went everywhere with me. And I slept with Reddy, and he was my friend. And then outside I had my bikes, and I had this little thing called a sit and go or sit and turn, or it was kind of like a big wheel, but you sit in the middle of it. You had two wheels on either side.
Oh, yeah.
It went round and round. It was a lot of fun.
What is your favorite thing to do for fun? Or what was your favorite thing to do for fun? Movies, beach?
Well, we did all that. We went to the movies almost every Saturday. Mom would just drop us off with like $1, and we went to the movie. Of course, we were always outside, so we were always jumping on the trampoline or running, climbing trees. We climbed lots of trees. And then when we traveled, Daddy was a pilot and had a plane, so we would fly to the beach every summer. And South Padre Island, it was before it was real big. It was just this little small place. And so we went to the beach every summer, and then every Christmas we went skiing in Aspen. And that was fun. And but usually just everyday type of fun was just, your friends in the neighborhood after school. We'd all just kind of go outside, and we'd always just find something to do till dinner time.
Mm-hmm. Did you have family chores? What were they? Which was your least favorite?
Okay. Yes, I did have family chores, and mine was, I had to make my bed and keep my room clean, and I got 10 cents a week if I made my bed every day. And I had to feed the dog. That was my chore. Had to do that twice a day. And I think that's all I had to do.
Yeah.
When I was little, anyway. My least favorite was keeping my room clean. Can we go back up to the other one?
If you want to.
Another thing that we did for fun. Well, what does that say? Oh, I was going to say when we were little, we spent a lot of time listening to our records.
Okay.
We had a record player, and we had 38s. Were they 38s?
33s.
33 albums, or big records, and then we had 45s. And we listened to a lot of records and music.
Did you receive an allowance? Yeah, I guess 10 cents a week.
Oh, and I need to go back up to that. My dad, he took us out almost every Saturday, and we would sit on the hood of his car, or on the fenders, and he would drive the country roads like at 5 miles an hour, and we would jump off and collect all the aluminum cans off the side of the roads, and we'd put them in a bag, and then we'd go back to his house, and then we had to stomp them till they were flat, and we got 10 cents for every 100 cans.
Dang.
And it was a lot of work. And then, of course, Daddy took them and got them recycled and made a lot more than that. But, but that was really a lot of fun because we got to sit on the car and jump off and get cans. We thought it was a lot of fun.
Did you save your money or spend it?
Both. I was.
You were a spender.
I was pretty thrifty, actually. I learned pretty early that, how to save my money and how to save for what I wanted. Like I said, I collected those horses, and they were expensive.
Yeah.
So I would save everything till I could get my next horse.
What was school like for you as a child?
Well,
Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy school, and when I went to school, we didn't have air conditioning in the school. So the windows were always open, and I can remember coming in from recess. We had recess twice a day, and that was in addition to PE. So you had 3 times when you were outside. Recess was just free play, and of course PE was, labs and calisthenics. But I can remember coming in from recess, and we would get a towel by the sink, and we would wet it, and we could put it on our forehead and cool down. And the other thing I remember is, of course, we had Xerox machine, or not Xerox, but minigraphs, and that's how they made copies. And it ran off this ink, and it was wet. They'd run it off, and it'd all be wet. And it smelled so good. And every time we'd be handed something, everybody put it up to their face and smell it. And I kind of miss that. The chalkboards were used a lot, and you could always, if you got in trouble, you usually had to clean the chalkboards. And I can remember having to go to the janitor's office and putting the erasers on this little blower thing to blow them out. Yeah. And let's see. But school itself, I enjoyed school. I really did.
What were your best and worst subjects? Start with your best.
Well, my best subject was recess, lunch. No. I liked history, and I liked reading.
And what was your worst?
And my worst was math. Always.
Where did you attend grade school at?
I went to Fannin Elementary, which was grades 1 through 6th. And that's where I went to elementary school.
Then you go to a different high school?
Well, from
Midland High?
from elementary school, we went to a junior high, which y'all call middle school now. And that was only 7th and 8th grade. And mine was called San Jacinto, or SJ. And then 9th grade was all by itself. And that was called Edison. And then high school was 10th through 12th, and I went to Midland High School.
Midland High School.
Yes.
And where did you go to college at?
I went to Texas Tech University in Lubbock, Texas. 1982 through 1986.
What school activities and sports did you participate in?
Well, in high school, I did band. I started band in 7th grade and continued that till I graduated high school. I played the flute, and I was also in the flag corps, which was, we twirled the flags around for marching season. And I was also on the tennis team from 8th grade through 12th grade. I played competitive tennis, both through high school and through league play. And then I was also a ballet dancer. I took ballet for 12 years. And I belonged to a civic organization that covered the whole Permian Basin. And we put on 2 productions a year. So I was very involved in that. I also did pep squad for a while. 10th and 11th, I did that. What else? I guess that's all of school activities. Yeah. I did a lot of church activities and stuff.
Did you remember any fad from your youth?
Fads,
like popular hairstyles, clothes?
Well, in junior high, it was Charlie's Angels was big, so we all had what they call wing hair, which was really feathered. And then in high school, it was preppy look. Was real big, which was plaids and cummerbunds and double shirts, collars up, ribbon as belts and stuff like that. Monogrammed, anything monogrammed was huge.
Who were your childhood heroes?
I don't know.
Charles Angel?
No,
Oh.
no. Well, for me, they were tennis players, pro tennis players, and probably ballerinas, because that's who I wanted to be. I can't think. Of course, growing up in Midland, George Herbert Walker Bush was vice president at that time. So he was from Midland, and his son, was living there at the time. So, I guess politically, Ronald Reagan, and I don't know. It's hard. Childhood.
What were your favorite songs and music?
Oh, I liked everything. No. I loved Elton John. I loved, I loved all kinds of music. I can't even think. I don't know. I loved it all. A lot of Broadway, music, Broadway songs. I'd have all the cassettes. And of course, in high school, it was, Journey and Van Halen, AC/DC.
Still good stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff you listen to is the Cars, Sticks.
Kiss.
I didn't like Kiss. I did not like Kiss. Take that off. No, they were, I don't know. What's that guy's name? Rick Springfield, that kind of stuff. Loved it. Eagles, loved the Eagles.
Pretty much everything I listen to.
Yeah, just great music.
Did you have any pets? What kind and what were their names?
Yes, I had lots of pets, mostly dogs and rabbits. We had 2 dogs, both long-haired dachshunds. One was miniature, one wasn't. And they were both named Schnappy.
Both of them were?
Yes, we had Schnappy 1 and Schnappy 2. And, of course, the dachshund is a German dog, which I haven't mentioned. My mom's side of the family is 100% German. So she wanted a dachshund, and, of course, they named it Schnappy because Schnapps is German. And then I had lots of rabbits. And
how many rabbits did you have?
Oh gosh,
total?
I don't know, maybe 6.
Mm-hmm.
I had one at a time, and I probably had a total of 6.
And die on you?
Yeah, or they got eaten or something. Yeah, and then my cousins had horses that I absolutely wanted to live with, and my favorite of their horses was Cowboy, and then there was Major and Big Boy, and I lived with those 3 horses any chance I could get.
What historic world events had the most impact on you while you were growing up? Did any of them personally affect your family?
Not after I was born. My dad was in the war at the very end of World War II, and he was stationed in Germany, but I wasn't born yet. And so no, not really. The only big event I remember is a man landing on the moon. Well, I can remember them. I can remember rockets going up. Being in kindergarten, and they'd bring the TV in, and we watched the rockets going up to circle the moon. And then I can remember man first steps on the moon, and then I don't really remember anything else. When I was in college, was the Challenger exploded. A lot of space, I guess, space stuff, but didn't affect me. Did anything affect us?
That's good.
I don't remember anything.
How is the world today different from what it was like when you were a child?
It was very different. Of course, all the electronics and cell phones and ways of communication. We had none of that. We had a telephone and letters. Everybody corresponded by letter and telephone.
Would you rather?
And we didn't. And our TV, we only had about 4 stations,
channels.
4 channels to choose from. And your TV went off every night at midnight and didn't come back on till 6 or 7 in the morning. And you didn't have 24-hour, 7 days a week news. Your news was only on at 6 and 10. And then Saturday mornings was cartoons, and Sunday was always church. Church programs. There was never anything on Sunday except maybe sports and church. So that was real different. I remember I was in 7th grade when HBO came out, and that was like huge. And it changed very rapidly. By the time I was in high school, we probably got 10 channels, because I know we got TBS, and I know we got CNN. So that had already started to change. MTV came about. We had CBs in high school. Everybody had a handle.
I did too.
And everybody had them in their cars, and that's how you communicated on the road.
8-track.
And we had 8 tracks, and then we went to cassette. Before that, all you had in your car was a FM, AM radio with 5 selector buttons.
I know, guys.
So,
What is the one thing you most want people to remember about you?
I don't know.
Kindness.
I guess that I was, that I tried to help others and serve others, and that I was kind and faithful. I was a good mother, good wife, good daughter, good sister, good friend.
What was your religion growing up? What church? What church did you attend?
Okay, I grew up Presbyterian, and I attended the First Presbyterian Church of Midland, and went there all my life, from the time I was born until I got married. I got married in that church, and I had my firstborn son baptized there, and my dad is buried there, and it was a very
Active church.
I was active in the church. It was a very active church, and it meant a lot to me and gave me a lot to help me build on for my life.
Where were you ever mentioned in a newspaper?
Oh yeah, small town. You get mentioned a lot.
Like with band?
Band and ballet, tennis, camp. Every time we went to camp, our pictures were in there. So yeah, I was in there. Oh, and yeah, when I was a senior, our band got picked to march in the Rose Bowl parade in Pasadena, California. It was huge, and I was picked to carry the Texas flag instead of playing the band. So I was out front of the band, and I got a lot of publicity for that. So
Who were your friends when you were growing up?
well, my closest friend's name was Dara, and then my cousin Lori and I did a lot together. And then I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of girlfriends. And then my neighborhood friends were mostly boys. My closest neighbors had 5 boys. And there were two close to my age, so I played with David, Vaughn, and Nikki all the time. And then my other neighbors were two boys, Steve and Philip, and they were kind of goofy. We picked on them a lot. And then there were a lot of kids in the neighborhood, and went to my school, and so we were always just outside playing. So
Just describe a typically family dinner. Did y'all all eat together as a family? Who did the cooking? What were your favorite foods?
when I was little, we all ate together as a family, and we had family dinners, and my mom did all the cooking. She didn't like anybody in her kitchen, so she did all the cooking and cleaning up. And of course, after her and my dad got divorced and my other siblings went off to college, we ate out more, more and more. And my favorite meals were tacos and spaghetti and her tuna casserole, her tuna fish, and she made these German, she called them cook balls. That's Kock, cook balls. There was a German, it was really good. Potato pancakes. My dad always made me grilled cheeses and hominy. And I love breakfast too. Eggs, bacon, toast. My mom's macaroni salad. It's the best in the world. And my favorite is angel food cake.
How were holidays celebrated in your family? Did your family have special traditions?
Holidays were huge. Mom decorated for everything. And we always had big meals. Christmas, of course, sometimes we were skiing, so Christmas wasn't that big because we were always skiing. So we basically Christmas was kind of small. We got a lot of gifts, but we didn't, and there was lots of decorations. Thanksgiving was big, and we usually went to my cousins, celebrated with them. The holidays were a big deal, and they were lavishly celebrated. Good memories.
All right. Well, I think this just about wraps it up.
Okay,
Thank you, Margaret.
you're welcome.